players all running crossing patterns, and one going from the left front to the right front, Hamano, to put it away.
Lemieux off the block. Lessard tries to get to it, but comes up a little short. 18-12, favor Japan.
Lamar stuffed block, but that play was set up by a poor pass. Canada going to have to do a better job in getting that ball up to Lemieux so she can distribute it.
Another timeout.
And what we're facing now in this new rally point scoring system is there are technical timeouts at 8 and 16 points, plus each of the coaches have 2 timeouts. So you have about 6 stoppages of play that the coaches can use to try to change the rhythm of the game and change the flow. Canada down by 6 points. You cannot afford just to trade serves now. Canada are going to have to go 2 for 1 every single time they touch the ball.
Genie is short in 2. Genie becomes short in 2, even though you won't pass it.
Lots of fan support here for Team Canada, as there was throughout the Pan Am competition, where the Canadian women wound up in 5th place. But right now, they're in tough against Japan. Suzuki serving for Japan, 18 serving 12. Off the net, and Lemieux unable to come up with the ball.
Well, another serve-receive problem. You have to move the feet. Get that ball in the center line of your body, extend your platform, make sure it's locked and level, and let that ball bounce off your arms perfectly up to the center.
Suzuki to serve. 19-12, favor Japan. Good float serve. Lemieux. Lessard.
And they're a perfect example. Kim Exner, after a great pass, goes right front. See a player in the middle, a player to the outside, and number 20, that's Sugiyama. She's frozen. She's the middle blocker. She can't close to the outside.
Kim Exner drives it into the nets. Exner attends school at Eastern Washington. She's in Vernon, BC. Japan serving. 20, serving 13.
Another example of poking at the ball. Now Canada really has to relax on serve receive, a wider base, get the body behind the ball. That's very tough to do because the ball is floating. The Japanese very good at that.
Number 15, Jenny Cartmel, is in the game for Canada. She's from Sherwood Park, Alberta, attends the University of Alberta. She has replaced Claude Lessard. Japan serving. Off the net. They keep it in play. Free ball for Japan. Back set. And it goes out of play, but off a Canadian hand. Another point for Japan. 3 points away from victory. 22-13 in this opening set. Taniguchi serves it. Lemieux down the pipe. A courageous effort by Kumagura to try and dig that one out, but even she couldn't get to that one, and she's very good at that.
No, that was called an X pattern. The right front player comes across the middle player in an Xing pattern and hits the second ball.
14 serving 22. Kitajima.
And so far, Canada's timing on the blocks not very effective. These Japanese players delaying their attacks. They have different tempos of attack. It's very tough to groove on them.
23, serving 14. Lemieux back sets. Good dig by the Japanese. Kitajima. Lemieux goes far side. Comes back over. Good dig by the Canadians to keep it in play. Off the net and down on the Canadian side. 24-14. This is set point for Japan.
And that's the advantage of having a left-handed setter, Asako Nukamuzu. Left-hander, able to put that ball down on the first play. Now she jump sets all the time, so she's able to disguise that time by jump setting and just turn around and hit the ball instead of setting it.
Lessard is back in. This is set point. Lemieux Goes to Lessard. Lessard drives it off the net. A point for Japan. This first set is over. Japan wins it 25-14.
Claude Lessard again trying to go on too radical an angle, trying to bury that ball in about the 6 or 7 foot line. Got to stay high, put it deep.
Japan doing everything right in the opening set. The Canadians struggling. Japan wins it 25-14. More from Winnipeg in a moment.
A lot. We try to have some fun on the court too, and I think it's a good team. We're working. We had some trouble, but we're working with our psychologist Tom Patrick, and it's a good group. I think we still have work to do, but I think it's always like that with big teams like ours.
It's a big team, and it's a struggling team right now, and Lamar has struggled a bit, Terry.
In fact, 2 weeks ago, Genevieve Lamar, diagnosed with mononucleosis, missed that trip you alluded to for the tournament in Mexico. Doctors have cleared her to play here in this volleyball invitational. She tells me she's feeling very well, but one cautionary note, and I found this very interesting, she is considered contagious by her doctors until today, and so her water bottle is very carefully labeled, making sure none of her teammates by mistake take a swig of water from that bottle. So an interesting story and comeback, quick comeback for Genevieve.
Interesting indeed, and Charles, she hasn't shown any signs of fatigue so far.
No, and my hope is that this match will go long enough so that she can show signs of fatigue, but right now, Japan dominating with their quickness. Canada not very good on serve receive, going to have to step that up just a little bit.
And Marie Lemieux will start things off for Team Canada in this second set. It's a best-of-5 match. And immediately the Japanese go to that quick set, quick hit.
Well, there's always 3 attackers, but you know, one of the things I've noticed that even their serve receive is very, very fast.
Hiromi Suzuki will put it in play for Japan. They lead 1-0 in this second set. That goes off Ross and down on the Canadian side.
Well, the blocker's very intelligent for Japan. Number 20, Sachiko Sugiyama. She plays for NEC in Japan. Lots of experience and took on Joanne Ross that time.
2, serving 0. Back set, Bellini. Cross court, off the Canadian block. Lamar off the Japanese block and out of play.
Well, Lamar can hit with the best players in the world just like that, and her contact point is so high that it hits the top of the blocker's hands.
Bellini puts it in play. 1 serving 2. Corner set. Good set by Lemieux that time for Ross.
Well, tremendous transition. Joanne Ross doing a good job to get off the net. Look at her come back in. Now she presents to the target. Not able to really hit it hard because of that hand, but effectively puts it away.
Bellini serving. Tied at 2. Back set. Bellini, and Bellini's hit is wide, but not by much. She had the right idea, just didn't execute properly that time.
No, and what Canada's doing better so far early in this match is serving tougher, taking Japan out of that quick stuff, forcing them to a little higher game.
3 serving 2. Set up the middle, easy dig for the Japanese. Over the block. Lemieux, back set. And that time, Lamar got a good piece of it, and it goes off the Japanese blockers.
A good intelligent hit. Kitajima is the smaller of the 2 blockers on the outside. Lamar knows that. Goes off her hand down the line and out.
Joanne Ross, who's playing with a broken finger on her right hand, serves it up. We're tied at 3. Over the block. Good dig by the Canadians, but dug too hard and too far, goes out of play.
Well, Canada a little bit slow getting to that ball, and there's the finger of Joanne Ross. Now, interestingly enough, she broke that in Chicago in warm-ups, just catching a ball. I mean, you'd think she'd get it on a block, but never the case.
And it created some controversy at the Norseca Championships in Mexico. They wouldn't allow her to wear a plastic protective device on it. She now has to play just with tape. Good play by the Japanese there. Pick up another point.
Well, interesting play. Kitajima hit that ball. The Canadians tried to dig it. You see Lessard there trying to dig it. Fortunately, she missed it because it was out.
Ruled out by the referee, Bodan Ilkiu of Winnipeg. The floor referee is Asad Hossein, both from Winnipeg, and both worked at the Pan American Games. Both have some international experience. Lessard. Good dig by the Japanese to keep it in play. From the back row. Blocked neatly by Canada. Another hit. And again, the Canadians put up a good tandem of blockers.
Kitajima again on that error, trying to go down the line on Anne-Marie Lemieux. Here she comes in. Now she's going to go to the smaller Lemieux rather than trying to go cross-court against Mitchell, but Lemieux gets her.
5, serving 4. Canada up by 1. Nifty little play there at the net, but it was read perfectly by Rayanne Mitchell.
Well, exactly. Read and react. A lot of experience right there, knowing the setter's left-handed, standing up, rejecting the ball.
Lamar puts it in play, and it's long. And in the rally point scoring system, that costs you. It's a point.
Well, it's a trade-off between serving very, very aggressively or losing balls on side outs.
5, serving 6. Back set. Big hit there from Genevieve Lamar.
Beautiful distribution. That's going to the back row of Lamar. Right now, Canada only has 2 front row players because the setter is front row. Always great to have that outlet.
Canada up by 2. 7, serving 5. Lessard puts it up. And it just goes out by about a foot, but enough that it costs the Canadians a point. 6, serving 7. Second set, Japan won the opening set, 25-14. Block to Lemieux. And a nice set there for Mitchell.
Well, that's the first 1-2 combination where the attacker has been able to get good wood on the ball. Mitchell comes in, presents to the target. The ball is set on the money, and she strokes it down with authority.
You get the feeling, Charles, that that would work all afternoon.
Well, that's what it's designed to do. The whole middle attack system is designed to freeze the center blocker on the other team.
Better contact. Genevieve served, that's in the right zone, Paul says. But we've just stopped that, right? So that ball's got to be in. And good swings everywhere. The one transition, one-on-one. Don't aim for the exact perfect shot. You know, there. So that'll help. You can collective sigh like this. Now we play.
Well, what Coach Reimer's talking about is don't think about it, just do it. You think about it in practice. Let me think about it. I'll help you. When you're out on the floor, you just do it. What's instinctive?
So
how many times have we heard that in hockey? Don't wait for the perfect shot. Just shoot.
Absolutely.
Same philosophy here.
Yeah. That's why you spend so many hours training and practicing. You try to groove those actions and try to make them so you don't have to think about it. When you're out on the floor, you just react.
Good crowd on hand here at the Investors Group Athletic Center, one of the legacies remaining from the Pan American Games this past summer. A marvelous facility for volleyball and basketball. You know that the University of Manitoba Bison's teams will certainly enjoy playing in this excellent facility. We're in the second set. It's a best-of-5 match. Canada up by 2. Japan won the opening set 25-14. Mitchell to serve. To the corner, off the block. Bellini bumps it for Lemieux. Down the pipe. That's a home run.
What a beautiful shot from Lessard. Now Canada really playing their game plan right now, forcing the high ball from Japan so they can go into transition in the pipe. Now everybody again is thinking about Lamar on one side, and they've got Bellini on the other side, and they come out of the middle.
9 serving 6. Lemieux. Bellini off the block.
Now that ball hit the antenna and went out of bounds. That's a violation. That ball set perhaps just a little bit too low, a little too fast. Bellini, a little rusty. She hasn't seen a lot of action on the outside. Needs to get a higher ball.
9 serving 7. Set, quick set.
Hamano hitting that ball just a little bit long. Canada fortunate to get out of that rotation. Again, the 1-foot step can't seem to find the perfect timing.
It's a 3-point lead for Canada in the second set. 10 serving 7. Free ball for Canada. Lemieux, quick set. Off the block. Lassard, Lemieux, Bellini.
And that's exactly what Canada needs to do. Their transition very good that time. Bellini getting the opportunity on a higher ball to swing freely. Look at that ball going very deep. Japan playing in the half-court defense. Everybody moved up short.
11 serving 7. Off the block, good save, the block. Lemieux, free ball for Japan.
And the referee calling an overblock from Team Canada, an interference with the setter. The setter is, unless that ball is completely on Canada's side, you cannot interfere with the setter. They have the right to get up and try to make the play.
Canadians just a little bit too aggressive that time. 8 serving 11. Suzuki puts it in play. And Willott couldn't handle it.
Oh, terrific serve. That ball didn't die in front of her. That ball seemed to come and then rise right up into the chest area, and she was unable to take it.
Willott is the Canadian libero. Japanese don't have their libero in right now. Willott to the setter, Lemieux. To Lamar. Easy one for Lamar. Lots of open space there.
Well, Lamar made it look easy, but I tell you, Lemieux set that ball 9 meters, really using her legs effectively to push that ball well outside.
Barb Bellini, who plays at UBC. Good float serve. Quick set. Off the block. Canadians blocking well now. Up they go again. And that time, Ross just got 2 hands on it, 2 fingers, and knocked it straight down.
Well, that's why you want big size in the middle of the court, because Joanne Ross doesn't have to take a big jump in order to get her hands over the top of the net. She just uses those strong fingers and wrists and throws the ball down.
Bellini. Good service, too hot for Kitajima to handle.
And this is a different Canadian team entirely. They're serving way, way tougher. Japan, all kinds of trouble on serve receive.
And Kuniaki Yoshida, the Japanese coach, calls a timeout. Let's listen to Doug Reimer.
In transition, I would keep those sets high, like the one to Barb. Okay, I'd just go high because they're having trouble stopping that, just to make sure we get a good swing. If it's off the net, like if it's off the net, a little bit higher. Joe, on some of this stuff here, it's not a huge block. We don't have to feel like it's got to get by the block so quick. Up, boom. It's okay to press it back and push inside. Find a way to get kills out of that stuff. Here we go. Keep getting touches, block. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
And how tough is that float serve to handle, Charles?
Well, when you take a look at the free zone, it's 9 meters back, so you've got about 6 and 9, 15 meters, so you can really put some pace on that ball. The whole object is try to take as much rotation off as you can, forcing the ball to dance in the air. Very tough to dig.
Like a knuckleball in baseball. Off the block. Lemieux. Lassard. Off the block. Kept in play. Good hit by Hamano.
Well, beautiful distribution from the Japanese setter that time. Number 2, Kitajima. She put that little back set over, and it was just drilled.
10 serving 14. This is the second set, best of 5. Japan won the opener, 25-14. Back set, nicely played by Joanne Ross.
Well, again, Joanne Ross having to reach for that ball. Not able to sting that ball, but able to just lift it over top of the block. Nobody playing defense right behind, and that scores.
Ross to serve it up. Free ball for the Canadians. Back set. Off the block. Lamar.
And they get a big hole between Mukai and Sugiyama as they're closing to the left side.
Canada leading by 6. This is Canada Volleyball Invitational.
There are seams there.
Canadian Volleyball Invitational. Team Canada versus Japan. Good to have you with us. This is live action from the Investors Group Athletic Center in Winnipeg. Canada leading by 6 in the second set. Japan won the opening set 25-14. It's a best-of-5 match. Good save there by Lessard. And a bit of a miscue by Lamar. She hasn't made too many in this one. She had a chance, but she drove it right into net.
No, Lessard, though, showing really good vision, able to come down off the block and save that ball to give Canada an opportunity, and that's what you like to see as a coach.
Hamano serves it up. 11 serving 16. Here's Lessard. From behind the line.
Oh, now that's a back row attacker in front of the 3-meter line. When you are in the back row, you have to take off behind the line. If your foot is on or over that line, it's illegal, and the referees very alertly pick that up.
17, serving 11. Off the block. Lemieux over the block. Good get by the Japanese. Good hit, good save. Back set, off the block. Lemieux there. Lessard off the block and down on the Japanese side. Another point for Canada, 18-11.
Well, one of the things that makes volleyball so exciting are these incredible rallies where both teams play defense and dig that ball up, and it's finished that time by Lessard with a huge cross-court attack.
Lamar serving it up, 18-11, favor Canada. Off the block and out of play. Point to Japan, 18-12.
Well, number 19, Hisaku Mukai showed very, very good spring that time, well over 10 feet, making contact with that ball.
Free ball for the Japanese. Off the block and out of play. Point Japan.
That ball touched the blocker's hands and went out of bounds. It's very important now for Canada to be steady as they get near 20 points. They've got a lead, but they really have to be steady.
Sugiyama serves it up, 13 serving 18. All nicely read, perfectly executed by Rayanne Mitchell.
Very, very difficult, you know, against two blockers. The play unfolds so quickly. The defense, if it's not in the absolute right position, see, it's just touched over the block, impossible to get up.
19, serving 13. Excellent serve. That went over the net, took a nosedive.
Well, yeah, that's, I call those Niagara Falls. I mean, it just seems to come over, and as soon as it hits the ledge, it just absolutely plummets into the ground. Just loses steam completely. Beautiful serve.
Claude Lessard will try and do it again. On the corner, good cross-court hit at the net. Off the block. And the Canadians just stood around and watched it drop. An unforced error that time.
Wow, definitely miscommunication. Louise Vlach, as the libero, has to step in and take that, and she indicated after the play, my fault. Very important for the communication to take place.
14 serving 20. Back set, quick hit. Good save by the Japanese. Off the block and down on the Canadian side. Great defense by Japan, giving them that point.
Yeah, you know, you take a look at the center of gravity. It's just unbelievable how low they are to the ground and make that play. And they're always trying until that ball touches the ground. And they get rewarded many, many times by bringing it up and hitting that ball.
And coming into the game, Jenny Cartmel. Lessard is out. Cartmel wearing number 15. Lemieux, back set. Big hit. No chance for Japan to get a piece of that one and keep it in play.
They can't emphasize enough having a big attacker when you've got only two front row players and having that option. And that ball just explodes off Hamano. She doesn't like it, but what a hit.
Rayanne Mitchell to put it in play. 21 serving 15. Off the block. Mitchell bumps it. Lemieux. Off the net. Japan keep it in play. Over the block. Good save by Bellini. Intelligent play. Great dig by the Japanese, but unable to get it over the net. Another example of how the Japanese really die almost every play to get that ball to keep it in play.
Oh, number 4, Kamakura with a pancake dig, saves that ball. That's so tough to do. You have to time it so your hand and the ball hit the ground at the same time.
22 serving 15, and it was driven right into the net by Rayanne Mitchell. And of course, in rally point, that's a loss of point.
Now a new setter coming in for Japan into the back row. That means they will have 3 front row attackers.
22 serving 16. Second set off the block. Lemieux back sets to Bellini. Bellini goes off the block, down on the Canadian side. Point for Japan.
And a smart substitution with Isobe coming into that back row, because the 3 blockers there made contact. If they had let the original setter Nukumuzu in there, she's much smaller, they may not have got that point.
Exner in the game for Canada, wearing number 1. Joanne Ross is out. 17 serving 22. The game to 25. Back set. Big hit. Good save by the Japanese, keeping it in play. Good hit. Good dig. Bellini, power. Point Japan.
Well, Bellini, beautiful defensive positioning, brought that ball up well, and then blew it a little bit too long. Her natural swing seems to be to go long, but that one just out the back.
Okay, we got to know we're going to have to scrap for everyone, for every ball here. Reminder what works well for us offensively is not trying to tuck balls in. Barb, that's a pretty good swing. There's line there.
Take a look at this last point for Team Canada. Now that's going to hit the block and be returned by Japan. But watch on the left side of your screen, Barb Bellini's defensive positioning. It's perfect. The set to the outside, and she's going to hit it just long. She's going for the line attack because the block's set inside and just hits it out of bounds.
Pretty good execution by the Canadians, but the finish just a little off.
That's
and
right.
As you said, she was going for the line.
And Canada was up 4 points. Now they're up 2 points. You really have to stay tough and focused.
Smart play by Lemieux. That time she faked the set and did the job herself.
Beautiful, beautiful from Lemieux. On that last play, Steve, I said 4. Canada was up 6 and then went up 4.
It's now 23 serving 18. Canada 2 points away from a win in this second set, and they'll get it with serves like that from Lemieux.
Another tough serve. Canada playing so much better from behind the line. And remember, the serve is the only skill in volleyball that you have total control over.
Set point now for Canada. Lemieux to serve. Good hit. Nothing the Canadians can do about that. Well, I've got a piece of it, but certainly not enough to keep it in play.
Well, Taniguchi, very fast arm swing. The block not quite formed, hits it through and down.
Suzuki puts it in play for Japan. Lemaire just goes over the block. Went too far. Off the block. Canadians unable to get it. Another point for Japan. It is 24-20.
Well, in the beach game, that's known as a sniveler. Every time it hits the ball, the net, and bumps over, and I'm sure Canada's thinking that right now.
20 serving 24. Suzuki puts it in play. Good quick hit. Great save by Japan, but they ran out of room. A point and the set for Canada. Remember, in rally point, you can pick it up whether you're serving or not. Canada wins the second set 25-20. They lost the opening set 25-14, so the Canadians right back in this one.
Welcome back to a lively Investors Group Athletic Center as Sports Saturday continues on CBC. Canada and Japan even at 1 set apiece. And joining me now, the head coach for Team Canada, Doug Reimer. And Doug, so far, and I don't need to tell you this, Canada's never defeated Japan in international play, but they got a tight one going here. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, You know, trying to guess even at the international level how games are going to go is difficult, and I was surprised we didn't start a little better. We were pretty tense, but very happy the way we came back. So I wouldn't want to guess right now what's going to happen at the start of Game 3 after the break.
What did your players do better in the second set over and above the first?
I think it was a lot of little things. We were starting to execute better. Our defense on slow-moving balls was significantly better, and I think we maintained our composure, which was important, because sometimes when you get blown out, you got to be able to come right back, and I thought we handled that well. If I could add just one more thing, I think even at higher levels, the balance of serving and serve-receive is so important. And once we could force them into a few mistakes, it just seemed like everything sort of shifted, and we were able to relax and get into a little better rhythm.
A little chink in the armor. What are you going to say to your players during this intermission?
Haven't thought about that too much. Luckily, we got 10 minutes here. No, I think what we failed to do in the first game was run a balanced offense because of passing, because we just didn't seem to get on track. And I think we have to attack this in the sense of being assertive with our offense, that we can now, hey, we can take it to this team, use our better physical size, and try and keep applying pressure to negate some of their quickness.
All right, I know you want to go talk with your players. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks a lot.
So Canada, Japan all tied up at 1 apiece. Remember, it's a best-of-5 series.
The perfect block, good position. Distribution of the ball, the 1-foot takeoff into the gaps. In the first set, they weren't able to do that. They weren't making great contact. Good contact at the net. Again, you see Lamar on the inside, but the set to the outside, freezing the Japanese blockers. That execution, perfect. And that's how you score points.
What would you expect from the Canadians in the third set?
Well, in the third set, when they do come out, they have to come out serving very tough. It seems like part of their strategy is to serve the ball very deep, force the Japanese into the back part of the court. Japanese have a tendency to play half court, to creep up. So got to keep them deep and force them out of what we call threes, having 3 attackers each time. Take away 1, force them into 2 attackers, and the block can close and really focus on that 1 attacker.
Japan won the opening set, but Canada came back to take the second set. We are tied at 1 and looking forward to a very interesting and entertaining third match here in Winnipeg. Athletic Center here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the site of the Pan American Games volleyball competition, both the men and the women. This is Canadian Volleyball Invitational, Team Canada versus Japan on CBC Sports Saturday. Good to have you with us. I'm Steve Armitage, along with Charles Parkinson and Terry Leibel. This is the first of 4 matches that these two sides will play. They'll be in Kelowna, BC on Tuesday night at Okanagan University College. That one gets underway at 7:30. Wednesday night, they move to UBC and the War Memorial Gym. That's also at 7:30. And then Friday at Malaspina College in Nanaimo, also at 7:30. So if you want to see some great volleyball action featuring 2 international women's teams, make sure you're in Kelowna, UBC, or Nanaimo on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're about to start set number 3. Japan won the opener 25-14. Canada came roaring back to win the second one 25-20. Set number 3 is underway. Over the block. Back set, far corner, and a good hit from Hamano.
Well, number 1, Hamano just hammered that ball on the right side with the 1-foot step takeoff. She's going to her right and hits the ball to the left, showing tremendous shoulder strength.
Good serve, Lemieux, back set behind the line, off the block. Easy one for Joanne Ross to put away.
Nicely done by Joanne Ross, not touching the net, not being too aggressive, but really good vision, and she's putting it away from number 1, Hamano, who's trying to read the play.
Lemieux to serve, 1 serving 1. Quick hit, good save, off the block and down. Lamar was there, and it wasn't getting through Lamar. When she puts those hands up, that's a very big target.
No, all you see are hands, 4 of them on that play, Lamar and Ross.
2 serving 1. Good serve. Off the block, save by Wallach. Ballini, off the block, good save by the Canadians. Bumped. Off the block, Lassard. Lemieux. Off the block and down on the Canadian side. That time, Lamar was able to hit it well, but the Japanese did a good job of blocking.
No, the ball was set very tight to the net, and Mukai and Suzuki. Suzuki's in the middle, and she's going to close to the outside. The ball, see how tight it is to the net. Ideally, you'd like to have it a meter and a half back.
Suzuki serves it up. Lemieux goes far side. Good hit by Genevieve Lamar.
And she's playing in the left front that time. Last ball she hit was right front, so Coach Doug Reimer moving her around to take advantage of her height.
Canada leads by 1, 3 serving 2.
And that's exactly, it's an ace serve. That deep serve has really caused Japan problems. That time a miscue between Taniguchi and number 4, Kumakura.
The line judge doesn't hesitate a bit. Bellini. That time is long. The flag goes up indicating that it was long by a couple of feet. Point to Japan. 3 serving 4. This is third set. We are tied at 1 set each. Best of 5 match. Canadians can't come up with the save. Joanne Ross got a hand on it, but not enough. We're knotted at 4.
Very tough serve. Now it's floating and it's moving to the right-hand side. You see, that's exactly what you want to do. Take the ball a meter away from the player who's passing.
Good set and a good finish by Lamar.
First time in the middle there. Lamar and Lemieux combination with some strong offensive action.
5 serving 4. Ross to put it in play. Good serve. Off the net. It had to go and it didn't. Point Canada in front by 2.
Tough serve down that right-hand side from Joanne Ross.
6 serving 4. Easy one for Lessard to slide the hand on and just drop it straight down.
Well, Lessard showing good control. If she reaches into Japan's court, that's a violation. She waits for the ball to come to her side.
Good set, good finish there by Sugiyama.
Nice little touch from Sugiyama on that back set out play. Caught a hand and wiped it off.
5 serving 7. Lemieux, back set. Good kill. And Mano got a piece of it, but not enough.
No, that's exactly where Lamar likes the ball. It's about 2 meters off the net. That gives her an opportunity to take a big approach in, but perhaps more importantly, she can see the block and see what's happening in the back court.
Everything to 1. Okay, so start that way a little bit more. So more than you think, because it's happening too fast for you to adjust as it goes. So don't change. You hit it as hard, but you aimed higher. You need a safe serve that's, okay, in the court and going to drop. So it just meant you got time to visualize that. They're definitely trying to pick this corner, right, in rotation, normal
Louise
rotation.
Wallach is the libero for the Canadian team, 2-time CIAU Player of the Year. She has some thoughts on that position.
I think for women's volleyball, I think it might extend the rallies a little bit longer. Basically, it's a defensive position where you can come in and out of the game as many times as the coach wants, and it adds a little bit more of passing and defensive plays.
And one of the reasons that Louise plays that position so well, Charles, is she's a great athlete.
Yes, she is. She's a terrific athlete, basketball player, volleyball player, softball player. She really is an all-around player. One of the problems, though, for her is that she's not really big enough to play in the front row at the international level. So you want to take advantage of her athletic ability and her incredible speed, and you put her into the libero role.
Japanese have got a few fans here, and in that timeout, Kuniaka Yoshida, the Japanese coach, didn't talk to his players.
Well, I think that sends a pretty clear message that he's not very happy at this point in time, and I bet didn't expect to be in this position.
Doesn't smile too often. It is 8 serving 5 in the third set. Japan won the opener 25-14. Canada won the second set 25-20. Down the pipe. Good save by the Canadians. Back set. Off the block. Good hit. Didn't hit any Canadian hands. It goes out of play. It's a point for Canada, up by 4-9-5.
Superb defense from Claude Lassard. She's playing in a position where it's above her waist. She knows it's out. She left it, was out by inches. Good court awareness.
Big hit, but a superb block by the Canadians, led by Rayanne Mitchell.
Wow, that's called a roof block. The timing on this is perfect. The close to the outside, the left hand sweeping the ball back into the court.
10 serving 5. Did it go over? It did.
Isobe, left-hander, just poking that inside the block. Sometimes, you know, when you're big, you can be too big, and that block is too high. It goes underneath and into Canada's side.
6 serving 10. Outstanding play by Lassard. She saw the hole, and she put the ball where the Japanese players weren't.
Well, it's a very nice setup. Lassard has come in and banged about 3 balls really hard cross court, and you can see number 16 that time, or that's Mukai rather, playing that hard-driven spike and missing it.
Lemieux, back set. Lamar with the hit. Taniguchi. Off the block and out of play. Point Japan.
That very, very fast arm swing from Taniguchi. A broken play, and as we said off the top, her foot speed enables her to get herself an approach on broken plays like that and hit it off the block.
7 serving 11. Lemieux. Bellini. Mukai. Isobe with the bump. Here's the set. Over the block. Good save. Bellini. Back set. Lassard. Good save by the Japanese. Free ball for Canada. Lemieux. Nice setup there for Joanne Mitchell.
Wow, both sides, just a tremendous rally, showing terrific defensive positioning to keep the ball alive, and then in transition, making good offensive swings at the ball. Canada finally completing that play on the back step off the block.
Now let's go down to the Japanese huddle. And again, Mr. Yoshida not saying too much to his team. Maybe he doesn't have to say too much.
Yeah, one thing that you notice about the Japanese is that they do tend to get a little quieter when they start to make mistakes. Their normal, I guess, action is to be out there and very up and very spirited and very communicative. Once they start to make errors, they start to kind of round the shoulders and go into a bit of a shell.
Canada up by 5 in this third set. Sets even at 1. It is 12 serving 7. Good serve. Mukai off the block. Lassard can't get to it, and it's a point for Japan.
And that's a superb set from Eriko Isobe. On the delay, what she did is pull her hands down a little bit as she was setting, froze the blockers, popped it outside softly.
Bumped too far, and that was an easy kill for Suzuki.
While Lemieux tries to get her hand up, but as you say, Suzuki very stable, 2 hands on the ball, puts it down.
9 serving 12. Lemieux back set, nicely done. Off the net, kept in play. Lemieux tries to set up Ross, couldn't do it.
And the combination between Lemieux and Ross is just not right there today. Their timing seems to be a little bit erratic. Ross can't seem to find the ball so that she can actually put some energy into it and hit it over.
10 serving 12. Off the block. Kept in play. Lemieux goes back to Bellini. Bellini off the block. Saved by Japan. Back set. And Wallach unable to control that one.
Japan taking full advantage of this weak rotation for Canada. Lemieux is front row. That ball hit down the line, block in the right position. Could have been maybe a step or two closer, but you run the risk of getting hit in the head, the old six-pack, if you step up too close.
Lassard is out of the rotation, and Jenny Cartmel from Sherwood Park, Alberta, is back in. Cartmel gets to touch the ball. Lemieux Excellent move by Lemieux. Instead of setting it, she decided to take it herself. And they hit a perfect shot.
Perfect setter's dump. She puts it into the middle of the court. Number 4, the libero for Japan. Kumakura tries to stretch out and get that ball, but she can't bring it up.
13, serving 11. Canada up by 2. Mukai! And it's a point for Canada. The kill attempt was wide.
She's appealing for a touch on the ball from the referees, but none of the Lions people saw that touch. Hit down the line and out of bounds.
Lemieux will serve it up. There. Good kill by Bellini.
Bellini taking a little bit off that ball. Not quite as strong a follow-through, so the trajectory of the ball is down in front of the defense.
15, serving 11. Third set, best of 5. We're tied at 1. Point for Japan. They move to within 3. And Oshima comes into the game for Japan. Sugiyama is out. Oshima wearing number 5. Suzuki will serve it up. 12, serving 15. Lemieux. Quick set there for Joanne Ross.
Well, that's the first time Ross has hit the ball, but Bellini with a perfect pass.
16-12, favor Canada in the third set. The two teams split the first set. In the third set here in Winnipeg, let's go down to Terry Leibel.
All right, Steve, you know, you always love to see growing confidence in young players. And in the case of 17-year-old Stacey Gordon, she's been subbing in and out throughout this match. She just looked over at me and said, I'm gaining confidence with each and every moment, that she feels she's not intimidated by the Japanese and the Canadians are coming on strong.
Well, I'm sure that's good news for Doug Reimer and the Canadian team to hear that from a young player like Stacey Gordon.
Well, what a brilliant future she has playing at the senior national team level at such a young age. A couple of years of experience under her belt, and she will really be strong.
13, serving 16. Super hit by Lamar.
Lamar goes inside the block, sharp cross-court angle, nobody there to make the dig.
Joanne Ross to serve. 17, serving 13, third set. Off the block, good save by Lamar. Net violation.
One of the few net violations that we've seen so far in this match. Both teams very, very disciplined in their blocking. They look to close the block above the top of the net. Take a look at it here. See, it's Rayanne Mitchell reaching a little too far, swinging the arms.
And that results in a point for Japan. They're down by 3. It is 14, serving 17. Good serve. Off the block. Point for Japan.
The ball set a little bit too low for Lamar. She hit that into the top of the tape. The referee calls 4 contacts.
15, serving 17. Lemieux, back set. Cross-court hit. Good save by Japan.
And Horai on a setting violation. Now, on the first contact of the ball over the net, the referees are very liberal in the use of the hands, but on the second contact on the set, it must be precise.
18, serving 15. Lamar puts it up. Easy one for Rayanne Mitchell to destroy.
Well, she's very, very smooth, doesn't follow through too hard on that ball, and just puts it away.
No chance for the Japanese to recover on that one. Canada leads by 4, 19-15. We're in the third set. Japan won the opener 25-14. Canada came back to take the second one 25-20. Let's listen in on Doug Reimer.
Or bad. They changed their defense a little bit. They have been, like the 3 shots ago, it scored easy cross court because their whole defense sort of slid. Then 3 stayed there a little bit more. Don't have a ton else.
Well, very interesting for Doug Reimer, because he's not necessarily watching his own team all the time. He's also analyzing what's going on the other side of the net. and he's able to take that information, process it, and turn it into action for Team Canada. But you know, in the last timeout that the Japanese took, very interesting. The Japanese coach was saying that to control the game, we have to control what happens on our side of the net. I think they feel they're losing that control right now.
And that time it was just hit across court, out of play. Another point for the Canadians. They're up by 5, 20 serving 15. Genevieve Lamar puts it up.
Now that's a back row violation. The setter is back row, and she took that ball above the top of the net, and it went over the net. Even though she was trying to set it, it was an offensive action, so it's classified as a violation.
21 serving 15. Off the block. Free ball for Canada. Lemieux. Stacey Gordon gets good wood on that one.
Well, and it's very, very exciting to be able to make a play like that as a high school player, to just be swinging freely, making contact off the block, and having your team come over and encourage you.
22 serving 15. A rare defensive error by the Japanese costs them.
Wow, a real miscue for Japan. They really seem to be making a lot of errors, not communicating anymore at all.
23 serving 15. Good save. Lemieux over the block. Good block. Another free ball for the Canadians. Nifty little play at the net there by Lemieux, again deciding to call her own number.
Canada definitely controlling this match so far, always on the offense.
Set point for the Canadians. 24 serving 15. The set 225. Off the block and out of play. That's a point for Japan. They stay alive.
Well, big swing from Taniguchi, taking on that block, hitting a piece of the hand and popping it out of bounds.
16 serving 24. Stacey Gordon with the kill. That'll do it. Canada wins the third set, 25-16. So after dropping that first set, the Canadians have come back with 2 straight.
What a super play Rayanne Mitchell made, isolating that block and allowing that big hit to come from the outside.
So after losing the first set, the Canadians have come storming back to win 2 straight and lead the match 2-1. Japan. Hiromi Suzuki will put it in play for Japan. Oh, and that time, Joanne Ross tried a little backhand flip, but the Japanese read that one well.
Well, it started with a weak pass from Team Canada. You must get that pass up, allow the setter the opportunity to distribute the ball.
2 serving 0 and into the net, and that'll cost them a point. Canada's first in this 4th set. Barbolini for Team Canada. Good float serve. Off the block, good save by Willott. Back set. Lamar.
Beautiful attack from Lamar. Even though the ball is slightly behind her head, she's in a little bit too early for it. She's able to get over top of it and bring the ball down in front of the defense.
Tied at 2. Bellini puts it in play. Good effort there by Genevieve Lamar.
Well, very strong from Mukai. Mukai is coming in, the ball is tight. Now what you want to do offensively is wait till you feel contact from the defense and push to your left side. That's exactly what happened.
Set and a kill by Taniguchi.
Wow, that was self-defense that time from Lemieux. That ball was hit at light speed by Taniguchi with that incredible arm swing.
Mackay serves it up, 4 serving 2. Brought back in. Free ball for Japan. Isobe sets, and it's killed by Hamano.
Beautiful X combination. The middle attacker comes in. The right front attacker comes around her, uses her as a screen, and Japan puts it away. And you can see them dancing early in this first set. That communication right back.
Canada down by 3, and Doug Reimer decides to call a timeout, sensing perhaps that his young team is panicking just a bit.
Well, you know, in rally point scoring, you can't afford to get too far behind. 3 and 4 points is acceptable. More than that, and it's very tough. So as a coach, you got to stop the bleeding early.
If we can pass twos, we can still play our game against this team, okay? Mix in front and behind to keep their middle blockers active in terms of what they're doing and little plays.
Doug Reimer talking about passing twos. A perfect pass is a 3. That means the center has 3 options. A 2 means one of those options is taken away. What he's saying is, even with 2s, we're okay. But if we're passing 1s, we can't compete.
And reinforcing the idea that the Canadian team don't have to deviate from their game plan. 5, serving 2. Mukai puts it up for Japan. Back set. Nicely done by Genevieve Lamar.
Well, it's just overwhelming power from Lamar, hitting that ball deep. In the back row, ready to dig it is Mukai, but she can't control the force of that ball.
3, serving 5. Joanne Ross to serve.
Back row attacker, then again, Isobe in to set that ball. She is from the back row, and that's the price you pay when you're making those very fast serve receives.
4, serving 5. Mitchell. Big hit, good dig. Off the block and down on the Japanese side. We are tied at 5 in this 4th set. Canada leading 2 sets to 1. Have a good serve. Tough to handle, and a bad play there.
Well, serve receive is what it's all about. That ball too tight to the net. You got to be careful as a setter, because if you sweep too much, you sweep into the net. That's a violation too.
Canada up by 1. Excellent serve. Off the block, kept in play by the Canadians. Off the block again. Good save. Free ball for Japan. Good kill, good dig. Another good block. Good rally. And a good finish, but it's point Japan.
Well, Lamar trying to go down the line off the block. The block set up cross court, but a terrific rally. Both sides of the net, very big at the net, making contact with the ball, slowing the path of the ball.
Tied at 6. Quick set that time by Lemieux.
Beautiful. Rayanne Mitchell from Lemieux. Mitchell cuts it across her body and catches Japan running in for the short tip.
Canada up by 1. 7 serving 6. Off the block. Good hit by Taniguchi.
Well, Taniguchi really goes down the line off the block. Very smart. She knows Lemieux is the smaller of the 2 blockers on that right side. She goes right after her.
7 serving 7. Sugiyama puts it in play. Is it long? No, the linesman said on the line. Close call.
Died right at the end. Louise Wallach right there. Followed that ball, but a bit of a misjudgment.
This one has been a seesaw battle from the opening point. Japan on top by 1, 8-7. Here's Reimer, and there is the Japanese coach, Kuniaki Yoshida.
Well, this is a coach with an awful lot of experience from Japan, who was at the 1996 Olympics, has seen volleyball at the highest levels, imploring his team, telling them to hit the ball off the hands of the block, not into the hands of the block.
Has to be a little bit more pleased with the way Japan have come out in this fourth set than he was in set number 3 and 4.
Yes, that's right. Canada has dominated, particularly off the serve, forcing errors from Japan. But in this fourth set, Japan starting strong, making those passes. Now, everything about Japan, as we talked about, is fast. Their serve receive is fast. They're running 3 quick attackers. The problem with that is that if something goes wrong, it goes wrong in a big way. And when it does, you give up a free ball to the other team.
Japan leading 8-7, but trailing 2-1 in this best-of-5 match. Just another reminder that this series between Team Canada and Japan will continue in Kelowna on Tuesday night, UBC's War Memorial Gymnasium in Vancouver on Wednesday, and Malaspina College in Nanaimo on Friday. All those matches will start at 7:30. Get out to support women's volleyball. I think you'll enjoy it. 8 serving 7. Lessard with a kill.
That's Lessard's best contact of the day. You can hear that ball, the crunch on that ball, even from our position up above the net, really making great contact.
8 serving 8. Good kill that time by Suzuki.
Wow, what a combination that is. Suzuki way back outside, drifting, and then hitting the ball back across her body. Terrific execution.
9 serving 8. Back set. Down the pipe. Good block that time by Suzuki. She can do it all.
She sure can. And what you find in these matches is that one player decides to take on the other team. And that's the kind of leadership that you need on the court.
10 serving 8, and it's long. Point for Canada. Rayanne Mitchell, the Prince George resident when she's not living and training in Winnipeg, serves it up. Off the block. Kept in play by the Canadians. Bellini. Tough one to get to. This one's got to go. Free ball for Canada. Good set, Bellini. And that time, no return from the Japanese.
Well, that's just terrific distribution from Lemieux. Japan unbelievably getting that ball back over. You see, Lemieux is running Joanne Ross to the right side, which frees up Bellini to really go after that ball one-on-one and just drills it off the defender.
Tied at 10. Off the block and down on the Japanese side. Point to Canada. Canadians lead by 1.
And that's a problem when you split your offense. You really have very little offensive coverage if the ball is swept back into the court.
Kuniaki Yoshida decides a timeout's in order for his team.
See, there's that play now. Ross is there. She's a little bit late, but there's only 2 attackers, and they're running on opposite sides of the court. One on the left, one on the right. So when the ball gets swept back in, as soon as it crosses the center, nobody's there to make the dig.
Tip situations, make sure we get good tempo. Good choices going back outside to there, right? Because they're following with the middle, and we don't mind going one-on-one against them there. 1, 2, 3. Hey, let's go.
Well, interesting from Reimer saying watch out for the tip situations, because one of the things that happens when you get a little tentative offensively, you go to the tip. Canada has been a little bit vulnerable to that right behind the block.
And the coach wants more of that outside attack. Feels perhaps the Japanese might be vulnerable there. 11 serving 10. Off the block, kept in play. Lemieux with the bump. Ross. That time, no block. And that was driven perfectly by Mokai.
A little bit of a gap between the blockers. It's the seam in between the blockers. And anytime a ball goes in the seam, it's very difficult to get because you're always defending around the block, not between it.
Tied at 11. Big hit. Good save by the Canadians. Off the block and out of play. Point Japan.
Well, that's again Mukai. Japan going to the outside off Lemieux. Take a look at the action here. Ross is over. She's closing. She's reaching up to try to sweep the ball back, but it goes down the line.
12 serving 11. Bellini off the block. That time Lemieux again deciding to do it herself.
Wow, that's the setter's dream. You know, setters don't get to hit very much, and every opportunity they get, they're going to take. And Lemieux just swings freely into the deep corner and puts that ball away. Good judgment.
Tied at 12. Off the block, kept in play. Again, good blocking by Ross.
Very stable at the net. Bellini takes on one, Ross takes on another. Now Canada's very disciplined. They're not trying to follow these attackers around. They're covering their zone. They're waiting for the player to come in and then reacting to it.
Lemieux to serve it up. 13 serving 12. Mackay tried to drive that one, but the Canadians were there, ready and waiting.
They were there in a big way, and you can't hit through bone no matter how hard you try. There's 4 big arms reaching for that ball. No daylight whatsoever.
I had a coach once who said you can hit it through your head. 14 serving 12, and that time the serve is long. A point to Japan. They trail by 1 in this 4th set. Canada leads 2-1 in this best-of-5 match. 13 serving 14. Lemieux, that one's too far, and that was an easy pickoff for Hamano.
Well, it's a bad bump. Lemieux goes out. She's got her back to the court, so it's a back bump set of about 13 meters. Tough to control.
Tied at 14. Lamar, that's in.
Well, that's just a gigantic hit from Lamar. That's right over top of the block and right into the deep corner. See it right there, way over top of the block. That's a world-class attack.
15, serving 14. That's a world-class hit from Mackay.
Well, very fast. You know, all of these broken plays, the Japanese have such great footwork that they're able to get in and really make a good approach.
Tied at 15. No chance there for the libero of Japan. Canada with a 1-point lead in this 4th set, 16-15. Japan won the opening set, but the Canadians came back and won the 2nd and 3rd set. They lead 2-1, and they're leading in the 4th set. Group Athletics Center on the campus of the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg. We are in the 4th set. Canada up by a point, 16-15. Japan won the 1st set, but Canada came back to win the next 2. They lead 2-1 in this best-of-5 match. Off the block, kept in play. Quick hit. Good reaction by the Canadians. Lassard, huge hit. Driven back into the net. Another point for Canada.
Well, Lassard hits a very heavy ball. Some people hit a crisp ball, a little snap. Lassard hits that ball very heavy. It doesn't look like it's going that hard until it hits you. And then you really feel the full force.
17 serving 15. Excellent drive there by Masami Takenuchi.
Bit of a miscue on the block that time from the outside. Taniguchi gets it by Lamar. Lamar turns and apologizes to the defense.
16 serving 17. Miscue there. And a miscue there. Another point for Japan. We're back to a tie situation, 17-17.
Well, 2 errors on the same play, or 2 miscues on the same play for Team Canada. 1 acceptable, 2 never acceptable for a coach.
And that certainly isn't acceptable. Hamano will not be happy with that. She'll apologize to her teammates. Point Canada on the serve driven into the net. 18 serving 17. Lamar. And that hit is long, but it touched a Canadian hand.
Well, Canada appealing to the referee for no touch, but both the referee and the lines person saw a touch off the block. Very difficult because of the speed of the ball to see whether it touched the finger, but you see Lamar pointing to the lines person saying, no way.
Tied at 18, and the service is long. And again, those miscues are costly. It's a point on the board for Canada, up by 1, 19-18.
And I'll tell you one thing is that in the fourth set in rally points is when you start to need nerves of steel, because one error could turn the tables on this entire match.
Good serve from Lessard. Good save. Over the block. Kept in play. Over the block. Yes! Still in play. Big hit. Good save by Lessard. Free ball for Japan. Keeps it alive. Big hit.
Wow, just incredible. There must have been about 8 jousts at the net there that time when the ball was frozen on top of the net. Mitchell just a force up there, but unable to put it away because of that very tight coverage on the Japanese defense.
Big point for Japan. We're tied at 19. Bellini off the block. Warlock with the save. Bellini with the hit. Off the net. Canadians can't save it. Another point, Japan. They're up by 1, 2019.
Well, very important for Canada to compose themselves and just simply return this serve and get the serve back to tie this match up. You can't let the other team get an advantage after 20.
Jenny Cartmel, number 15, coming into the game. And Lessard is going out to get a well-deserved breather. It is 20, serving 19. Taniguchi puts it up. More of this net jousting. And then Mukai says, I've had enough of that.
Well, anything that's very tight to the net within about 5 or 6 meters of the net, Japan will bring up. And if they bring it up, they will give themselves a transition opportunity.
And we're going to get a timeout with Japan leading by 2, 21-19 in this fourth set. Canada leads 2 sets to 1 in the best-of-5 match.
Well, you know, very interesting because Doug Reimer, when he served Cartmel in, Japan went right after her on that substitution, and she made a great pass. That really takes a lot of nerve.
Way to win. Let's go, gang. One pass, side out.
Good crowd on hand here at the Investors Group Athletic Center on the campus of the University of Manitoba. Some Japanese flags in the crowd, far outnumbered by the Maple Leafs. We saw lots of that this past summer at the volleyball competition here at the Pan Am Games. Good block. Comes down on the Canadian side. Another big point for Japan. They lead 22-19.
That is a really big point. Up 3. Canada is going to have to get some serious blocks right here. And they're making a change in the setting position. Nancy Paradis coming in to finish this setup.
Paradis from Jean-Pierre, Quebec. Off the block. Good put away that time by Mitchell.
And Suzuki ended up underneath the net on Canada's side after that attack. Watch her, she goes down. You can't see it, but she goes underneath the net, but she's outside the court, so there's no violation.
Rayanne Mitchell to serve. 20, serving 22. Off the block and down on the Japanese side. Big point for Canada, now down by 1.
Bellini read that perfectly. Look at that penetration, and you see how the outside hand turns it in, just like it's supposed to be in the textbooks.
21, serving 22. Isobe sets. Off the block. Good save by Bellini. Off the block and down on the Canadian side. Another point for Japan, up by 2, 23-21.
An example of how Japan can change their tempo. Suzuki came in with a much faster arm swing to put that one away.
Isobe to serve. Bellini off the block. Over the block. Ross. Back row. Sobe. Good save there by Cartmel. Bellini. And her hit is too long. She was too far in front of the ball that time. She couldn't get the arm up and over to drive it down.
Broken plays for Team Canada. Missed opportunities. You must be able to convert on transition late in matches.
Set point serve for Japan. They lead 24-21. They put it up. Big hit. It's in. Just catches the line.
Cross court now absolutely crucial for Team Canada. Here's that play from Lamar. Look to the deep left corner of the court, right on the line.
And Marie Lemieux to serve. 22 serving 24. Good serve. And that one is out. It did not touch a hand on the Canadian side. It is 24-23 favor Japan, but Canada is serving. Lemieux. Good serve. Tough one to handle. Off the block. Wallach gets a piece of it. This one has got to go, and Cartmel can't get to it. It went into the stands. Good effort on the part of the Canadians. Japan wins this fourth set, and we are tied at 2 sets apiece in the best of 5. Japan wins this one 25-23. So we are going to a 5th and final set, and it'll be first to 15 in that one. We are deadlocked at 2 sets apiece. Back to take the next 2, and Japan won the 4th. They did not quit. We didn't think they would for 1 single minute, Charles.
No, they are a team of experience. They have at least 2 of the veterans on this team that played in the 1998 World Championships in Japan, where they finished in 8th place. So they have some international experience.
Let's go down to Terry Leibel. Terry?
Steve, I just talked with Doug Reimer. He says the Canadian team has to step up their serving. That's critical. He feels the Japanese have improved their play. They're playing the best of the volleyball tournament thus far. So he's advised his team to step up the offense, especially their serve.
Well, perfect tactic worked in sets 2 and 3 for Team Canada, which they won. Went away from it a little bit in the 4th set, so a good move from Doug Reimer.
In this 5th and deciding set, it's the first to 15, but again, you have to win by 2. Off the block, good save. Wallach makes a great save. Lamar, another good rally. Off the block. Terrific defense. Free ball for the Canadians. Off the block and down on the Canadian side, so point number 1 in the 5th set to Japan.
And Japan read that ball perfectly into the middle. Joanne Ross trying to hit that very quick attack, but players right in front of her.
Good serve. Lamar off the block, kept in play. Mokai. Good set. Ross had to go with the other hand. Off the block and out of play. Another point, Japan.
Well, Japan really looks like they've got new life after winning that very tight 4th set. They're going to dig in for everything. Canada's going to have to earn each point.
Lamar has to go off the block. Great save by Japan. Off the block again. Kept alive. Back set. Bellini. Wallach kept in play by Lessard, bumped over by Lemieux. Over the block.
Well, a miscue from Lamar. She touched the net, and you know, she's had 3 or 4 swings at the ball and hasn't been able to put it away. And I have to wonder at this point whether that mono is a factor. She doesn't seem to have the sting that she had in the last set, or whether the timing is not quite right.
I still think she can get kill. But why don't we go 41? 41 and be ready. Back set there. Hey, Big D, making some nice digs, right? Just our break. We're working hard. We're going to get these side outs. We should probably start it now.
So Reimer talking about a 41. The way this offense is designed, there are 9 offensive zones, 1 meter each across the net. That's the first number from left to right, so it's going to come out of zone 4. The second number is the height of the ball above the net. So a 41 means very quick in zone number 4 as we watch Japan. Their coach, he's been there in this situation before, Mr. Yoshida.
3 serving 0, and the first point for Canada in this 5th and deciding set of the best of 5 match. So it's now 1 serving 3. Barb Bellini will put it in play. Good serve. And that hit is long.
But there's a net violation. That's the second net violation in this 5th set. Only 1 in the previous 4 sets for Team Canada. Take a look at it. I think it's Claude Lessard. Yes, again on the reach with the arms. A lot of that reach should come from the abdomen.
4 serving 1. 1st to 15 in this 5th and deciding set. Over the block. Has to go. Too many hits.
And a little bit late, no, a little bit of a late call by Bowden Ilkew. Lemieux was a back row setter. She came in and made contact with that ball and sent the ball over above the top of the net.
5 serving 1. Suzuki with the serve. Off the block, kept alive. That time, Mukai went off the block. The ball dropped down on the Canadian side. Another point for Japan. They're up by 5.
Doug Reimer has to go to his bench. He's got to find a way to change the momentum of this set. Now remember, we're only going to 15. Win by 2.
Bellini is out. Cartmel is in. She gets to touch the ball. Willott bumps it forward to Lessard. Lessard goes off the block of Sugiyami and Hamano.
And that's a crush block to the outside. Rejecting that ball straight down, and Canada calls another timeout. Doug Reimer pulling out every single stop to try to change the flow of the game.
Period. End of story. And we could end up, what's that? Okay, but still, you have to give them line because the #1 thing they're hitting is there. Collective deep breath. You're going to have to work hard to get there. Starts with side outs. Play to score. Don't be afraid to hit some hands.
So Reimer saying on the block, don't block the line. They're going to go after your hands. Set your block inside and allow the defense to make the dig.
They need some of that composure they had in the 2nd and 3rd sets.
Yes, they do, but remember now, they are a fairly young team. Not long ago, these were all rookies. Now they are expected to be veterans.
7 serving 1. Cartmel sets Lessard. Lessard off the net and down. Another point for Japan.
The problem in the 5th set is when you're swinging not to make mistakes rather than swinging to make the point. You can't think about it. We've talked about it again. You can't think about it. You have to do it. But you got to move your body into the right position.
And with the 8th point on the board in this 5th and deciding set, the 2 teams will change sides. Japan moving to our right, Team Canada to the left. Remember, Canada has never defeated Japan in a women's volleyball match. They've won some sets, as we've seen, but they've never taken the match.
Now what happens when they change sides is the second referee, the down referee in this case, Azad Hussein, will check the lineup, make sure they're all in the right position, and you go straight into play.
Hiromi Suzuki to serve for Japan. It is 8 serving 1. High float serve. Lemieux back sets. Lamar has it go off the net. Another point for Japan.
And that's another point on an error from Team Canada. So far, Canada beating themselves rather than Japan.
Joanne Ross coming out of the game, and Kim Exner from Vernon, BC comes in. She's 6'1", plays at Eastern Washington when she's not with the national team. Good serve, good save. Willott did well to get that serve, but she couldn't get it high enough for her teammate.
No, that was a terrific serve from Suzuki, and when you're playing rally point, 5th set, you're up 9-1, you can go for stuff like that. I mean, she just beat on that ball.
Doug Reimer really going to his bench now. Stacy Gordon, the teenager from Oshawa, comes in. Lessard is out. Suzuki, 10, serving 1. Off the block. Bump forward, again off the block. Exner sets Lamar. Mukai.
Exner and Lamar right at the net there. The ball set inside, bit of a suicide set. Canada there on the block, rejecting the ball.
Ross comes back in, and Exner, who did her job, goes back to the bullpen. 2 serving 10. 5th and deciding set in this best-of-5 match. Off the block and down on the Canadian side. Another point for Japan.
Terrific execution on that back step all the way out to the antenna.
Gordon comes out.
Both sides substituting freely now. Coming into the game for Japan is number 21, Yoko Isogawa. She's a member of the junior national team from Japan, only 19 years of age.
Good serve. Lemieux. Good save. Bumped over. Lemieux for Lassard, who was going in the opposite direction. And that's driven down. That's another point. Japan leads 12-2.
A perfect X combination. Hamano, the team captain, coming from right front into the middle of the court, just hammering it. Canada a little bit off guard now, not reading those plays.
12, serving 2. Good save, kept in play. This one has to go, it does. Good set, Lamar off the block, good save. Lassard goes over the block, but Isobe is there. Good rally. Off the block, kept in play. Again off the block. Lemieux, Lamar. This might be the longest rally of the match. Lemieux, Lassard, and it just drops down on the linesman said, was it in or out? He says in.
That's a fabulous rally off the block that time from Team Canada to score the point, but both sides just drilling that ball. A lot of contact. All the block is trying to do is slow the ball down, give the defense a chance.
3 serving 12. Good save by Wallach. Another great save by Japan. Lemieux goes to Lassard. Oh, and an excellent save. Lemieux does it herself. Down on the Canadian side, a free ball for Japan. Good block, still alive, great rallies, and then it goes out of play. Point Japan, 2 points from victory in this set and the match.
Well, I tell you, both teams really playing hard volleyball, trying to earn points. Mitchell thinking there's going to be a person up there to make contact with that ball so she can wipe it off. But Japan very crafty, keep the hands down, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Bellini is back in, Cartmel is out. It is 13 serving 3. Huge hit from Lamar. And the Japanese unable to come up with the save that time. That's a 4th point for the Canadians in this set.
And the block doing its job. All Japan's trying to do against her is get a hand on that ball so they can dig around it.
4, serving 13. Lassard puts it in play. And that time it was Taniguchi with the hit.
It was a beautiful hit from Taniguchi, but I tell you, Sugiyama set it up for her.
Set and match service for Japan. 14 serving 5. Off the block. Saved by the Canadians. Free ball for Japan. And that wins it. Tremendous effort by the Japanese to come back down from 2 sets to 1 to win it 3 sets to 2. So the Canadian record, unfortunately, still intact, Charles. They haven't beaten Japan in a match, but a great effort from this young Canadian team this afternoon here in Winnipeg.
Well, it was a really game effort, and you know, in sets 2 and 3, they really dominated Japan. They were unlucky in set 4, where Japan did fight back and won a very tight one, 15-13. So good effort from Team Canada.
Japan won the opening set. The Canadians stormed back to take the next 2 and looked to be in the driver's seat, but the Japanese certainly did not quit. They won the 4th set and then came back to win the 5th to win the match 3 sets to 2. Great volleyball here in Winnipeg.
To Japan, it was a tight one. It took a full 5 sets to decide it. But Canada loses to Japan, and unfortunately, and joining me now, Geneviève Lamar, unfortunately that record of not having defeated Japan in international play remains intact. How disappointed are you?
We're really disappointed that our 5th set, we didn't play as well as we could have, and yeah, that's really disappointing. We still have 3 more games to go with them, so we're going to analyze this, what went wrong, and hopefully correct it for the next 3 games.
Geneviève, let's turn to the positive, and that is you're missing Bridget Susie, Janice Kelly, Wanda Gwinnett. They're over playing in professional leagues in Europe, and yet you played some fabulous volleyball out there. What do you credit that to?
We are very close together. Yes, it was tough losing Bridget and Janice because they are incredible players, very good passers, and it was hard to play with the new lineup today, but I think we played very well, and for those reasons. And yeah, we're really, I think we can say that if Bridget and Janice would have been there, it would have been a great game.
For sure, you're missing some of the very strong, powerful players in the Canadian scene. Let's talk about the road to the Olympics, and your next match in terms of Olympic qualifying will come in the new year in Florida. What does this experience do in terms of preparing you for that?
It's good for us because playing Japan is a new experience for us because we don't have teams like that in our zone to qualify for the Olympics. The teams that we have to beat are very tall, very powerful, not like Japan. But we have to concentrate on our side of the court and play our game. So that's good to prepare.
The Continental Cup, and you're referring to Brazil and Cuba and, of course, the United States. That's in your future. Let's talk about you personally. You're battling back from mononucleosis. Did the mono affect you today?
I didn't feel that bad. It felt good on the court, and I think that when you start playing, you just play your adrenaline rush. I was just playing my game. No, I think that didn't affect me much today.
Geneviève Lamar, nothing to be ashamed about. Took it to 5 sets.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Japan victorious today, but Canadians put on a great show. Congratulations to you.
Well, thank you, Terry.
Now let's go up to the booth just over my shoulder and join the men who've been pretty busy calling a very exciting match today, gentlemen, Charles and Steve.
Thank you, Terry. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and full marks to Geneviève Lamar, who didn't show any signs of that mono, and you were everything she was everything you said she was.
Yeah, she's a terrific offensive player for Team Canada. A little trouble in the end there in the distribution to get her the ball, and the Japanese seemed to get a little bit of their rhythm and soft blocked her, but boy, what a terrific athlete she is.
A valuable lesson for this young Canadian team.
Well, you know, what we talked about with Japan is their work ethic. I mean, they never, ever give up. They force you to earn every single point. Canada learned that the hard way. Their defense, I mean, they're like a Hoover. Anything that's close into the net and that ball is coming up, and offensively they keep coming at you, wave after wave of athletes running quick plays. So a real lesson for Canada.
If you were to talk to the Canadian team, what would you be saying now if you were Doug Reimer?
Well, certainly in the 5th set, everything seemed to come apart, starting with serve reception, getting that ball up to Anne-Marie so she can distribute it. On the other side, they seem to go away from their serving. You know, in sets 2 and 3, they put Japan in a lot of trouble, forced them into a high ball game. And against Canada in high ball, Canada has the advantage of blocking, but they seem to go away from that. The game was actually over early, and Reimer was getting his other players in to give them some valuable experience.
Let's take a look at that deciding point in the 5th and final set.
Now in that fifth set, I mean, there was a lot of action in the last 2 or 3 sets. Nobody wanted to give up. I mean, look at these players making digs, getting that ball over. The level of play seemed to go up as we got closer towards the end of the match. But finally, Isobe, the veteran World Championship left-handed setter, able to put that ball into the open court.
Team Canada minus a number of key veterans losing to Japan in a very entertaining women's volleyball match here in Winnipeg today. Terry?
You said it, Steve and Charles. Outstanding action today. A full 5 sets to decide this one in the inaugural Canadian Volleyball Invitational. It is Japan over Canada. Our apologies because of the length of this volleyball match. We're unable to show you the Joanne Millar interview. We'll have it for you later on Sports Saturday.